Joey came on board at Manly, which me and Daly were absolutely blessed with. He came on as a halves coach, the greatest number 7 the game's ever seen. And basically, Des brought him on to train me and Daly up and pass on all his knowledge and skills. And then I just evolved my game over time through all those little areas and bits of information that I was passed on.
Yeah, what was Joey teaching you?
Just little things, like he was so good at getting the poles out and, teaching us how to kick from A to B defender, start on B defender, go back at A or kick over to C defender. And those things at times that we just did repetition after repetition are things that I still use today now. Yeah, the fundamentals of what Joey taught both of us through those 2 or 3 years was, hugely valuable. You hear the story about Cooper, don't you, all the time. Everyone brings it up, that he was playing Queensland Cup for North Devils at the time, and he was sort of moving from 13 to 9 to 7 to 6. They didn't really know what position he was going to be, but went down to Melbourne and Craig turned him into arguably one of the greatest 7s our game's seen. And to think he, won the amount of competitions that he did and became such a incredible halfback at icing big moments, and it was all manufactured. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it, when you think about it like that?
Norms used to always say this, like, it looks weird when he gets out of structure. When someone gives it an offload and he's like, where can I play?
Yeah, I can relate.
He's like, try and where's the post? Give me to a point.
It's true. It's true. I'm still like that. Like when the boys start playing offload footy, it's funny when you're a manufactured half, it doesn't come natural to you. It's a scramble. The game gets messy for you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When you watch natural halves, you can see that they love it when that footy starts to take place. But I can relate to Cooper for sure. If that's what he was thinking at the time. I think Nicho's to a degree still finding his style. A lot of people forget he was a fullback. Wasn't he at Melbourne as a junior? He's come in. He's signed at Cronulla as a halfback. And it takes you a while to really, I guess, hone in on your craft and learn, like you said, what your 3 or 4 pet plays are in your style. And he's such a gifted footballer that he's got an array of skills that he can play, from anywhere on the footy field. He's probably still developing how he wants to play consistently, like with his skill set.
Because he's got too many options.
Yeah, he's very. When I watch Nicho play, he's just front foot, free flowing, and just at ya. And when it's a retreating line and he's got ruck speed, there's no one better. Like he's just at ya, and he's got the kick, he's got the pass, he's got the run. I think for Nicho, his growth will be how he manipulates a defensive line that's coming to him, and he doesn't have ruck speed. And as you spoke about in those big games, especially in game 1, you're not having ruck speed and you're not getting the free-flowing footy that you might be used to at clubland. So, I think that's just part of his growth. A lot of people forget Nicho's still pretty early on in his career.
Yeah.
I think
of the age throws people off, like he's 28, 29.
I think it does. Like, I'm not sure Nicho's even played 100 games yet. Like,
might be just around that sort of mark.
Yeah. So, I remember when I was at that stage of my career, I was still well and truly learning my style and what worked best for me in games of footy. So, he's a great, great player. There's no denying that, and he will have a huge career.
What's your thoughts on Nathan Cleary?
Love him. Yeah, love him. Yeah, his career has been phenomenal, really, hasn't it? I mean, to think, he's 25.
Yeah, something like that.
And he's, played in 4 grand finals, won 3 of them, completely and utterly dominated the big lights and the big stage, and consistently played great footy over, the first, 7 years of his career or something like that. It's just been, it's been really awesome to watch. And again, I haven't had heaps to do with Nathan, but every time I've met him, He's
champion,
champion bloke, and everything you hear about him is just how hard he works.
Yeah.
And you just can't help but love and feel happiness for a guy that works so incredibly hard on their craft, and they reap the rewards. And I think in his case, that's just an example of it. I think he's a great example to all the young halves coming through.
Our mate DCE, let's talk about him. Why is he so good for so long?
I think highly competitive, like super competitive. I think that's one of Daly's great traits.
Yeah.
I think that he's driven by constantly achieving at a really, really high standard, and I think that's what makes him, the player that he's been for so long. He's competitive. He wants to win, and he wants to be the best that he can be. And
I think people get thrown off because he's so polite. You know what I mean? Yeah,
they do. Yeah, for sure.
Politely competitive.
Yeah, I think what people see of Daly in the camera. There's a grit and determination behind the scenes that if you know him, you know that there's a deep fire lit in there. And I think that's what's allowed him to have the career that he's had. But in saying that, all the other things that go with it, he's obviously extremely gifted as a footballer. He's worked extremely hard. He's
fit as fuck.
He's so fit. He's professional. He looks after his body. He hasn't had many injuries. He's genetically well put together. He ticks a lot of boxes.
Really long arms and big hands.
Rubbery. Yeah. I mean,
and like a big ass,
And he's not too big up top. He's powerful through his arse and his legs. He's big through his arse and legs, so he's powerful. And that's, I guess, giving him an advantage with his running game and his kicking game and things like that. But
it's all like swerve, eh? It's not really like a big step or anything. It's just like, it's kind of awkward.
Yeah, no, he certainly is. I think he's learned how to get himself around a footy field pretty handily, and he just knows how to win games of footy, doesn't he?